Are you frustrated with your learning process? Do you find yourself rereading textbooks, taking notes, and highlighting key points, only to forget most of it the next day? It's a common struggle, but here's the good news. The problem isn't your ability to learn, it's the method you're using. In this video, we'll explore the fascinating science of how your brain learns and remembers. More importantly, we'll give you practical, research-backed techniques to retain information faster, enhance your memory, and make learning not only easier, but also enjoyable. Let's dive in. How learning works. To understand how to improve your learning, we first need to understand how the process works. At its core, learning is about building connections in your brain. When you encounter new information, like reading a book, attending a lecture, or watching a tutorial, your brain processes it through a system called encoding. Encoding is like writing the first draft of a memory, but it's just the beginning. The real challenge lies in retrieval, bringing that information back when you need it. This process strengthens the neural pathways in your brain, making memories more durable and easier to access. But here's the kicker. Your brain is naturally wired to forget. Studies show that without reinforcement, we lose up to 50% of newly learned information within an hour, and nearly 70% after just one day. This phenomenon, known as the forgetting curve, explains why traditional cramming methods often fail. So how do we overcome the forgetting curve? By using effective learning strategies that are aligned with how your brain naturally works. Let's look at some of the best ones. Active recall. The first technique is active recall. Most people make the mistake of passively rereading or highlighting information, but that doesn't help your brain retain it. Active recall involves challenging yourself to remember information without looking at your notes or textbook. For example, after reading a chapter or attending a lecture, close your book and ask yourself, what were the key points I just learned? Try to write them down or say them aloud. You can also use flashcards to quiz yourself on important concepts. Research shows that the act of recalling information strengthens the neural pathways associated with that memory. The more often you practice retrieval, the easier it becomes to recall the information later. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Spaced repetition. Next, let's talk about spaced repetition. This technique is all about timing. Instead of reviewing material over and over in one sitting, space out your study sessions over days, weeks, or even months. Here's how it works. After studying a topic, review it the next day, then 3 days later, then a week later, and so on. Each time you revisit the material, your brain strengthens its hold on that information, making it less likely to fade. Spaced repetition is highly effective because it takes advantage of your brain's natural memory processes. Apps like Anki or Quizlet can help automate this method, so you don't have to worry about tracking your review schedule manually. The Feynman Technique. The Feynman Technique is a favorite among lifelong learners and experts. Named after physicist Richard Feynman, this method revolves around the idea that teaching is one of the best ways to learn. Here's how to do it. Start by writing down a concept or topic you're trying to learn. Then explain it in your own words as if you're teaching it to someone with no prior knowledge, like a child or a friend. If you get stuck or realize there's something you don't fully understand, go back to the source material, clarify your understanding, and try again. By breaking down complex ideas into simple explanations, you deepen your understanding and identify gaps in your knowledge. Chunking. Our brains aren't designed to handle too much information at once. In fact, we can only hold about 7 items in short-term memory at a time. That's where chunking comes in. Chunking involves grouping related pieces of information into smaller, manageable units. For example, if you're trying to remember a phone number, You might break it into groups of 3 or 4 digits instead of trying to memorize all 10 digits at once. You can apply this to almost anything, whether it's a list of vocabulary words, historical dates, or key concepts in a course. By organizing information into meaningful chunks, you reduce cognitive overload and improve recall. Interleaving. Interleaving is another powerful technique that challenges your brain to think critically and make connections. Instead of studying one subject or topic in isolation, mix related topics during your study sessions. For example, if you're studying math, alternate between algebra, geometry, and calculus. Or if you're learning a language, switch between vocabulary, grammar, and conversation practice. Interleaving may feel more challenging than focusing on a single topic, but that's the point. It forces your brain to work harder, which strengthens your ability to apply knowledge across different contexts. Optimizing your environment. A productive study environment can make all the difference. Start by eliminating distractions. Turn off notifications, find a quiet space, and organize your workspace. Use the Pomodoro technique to manage your time. Study for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. After 4 cycles, take a longer break. This method keeps your mind fresh and focused. Lighting and posture also matter. A well-lit space and an upright position can keep your energy levels up. And if you're someone who enjoys background noise, try using soft music or white noise to create an ideal study atmosphere. The role of sleep and exercise. Did you know that your brain continues to process and consolidate information while you sleep? That's why pulling all-nighters is counterproductive. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night to give your brain time to strengthen the memories you've formed during the day. Exercise is equally important. Physical activity increases blood flow to the brain and releases chemicals that support learning and memory. Even a short 20-minute walk can improve focus and mental clarity. The psychology of motivation. Finally, let's talk about mindset. Learning is easier when you have a clear purpose. Start by setting specific, achievable goals for what you want to learn. Break these goals into smaller steps and celebrate your progress along the way. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep learning and growing.